Today we're talking about Real Estate Pro University, also known as Real Pro U. What's been taking real estate agents from just the basics into advanced techniques and strategies for growing their real estate business. This has been something we have been developing here at the Tampa School of Real Estate since like 2018. And we've been using this actively in brokerages to train their agents virtually, to provide an on-demand virtual training option to learn these advanced strategies, techniques, concepts that are not taught in pre-licensing or post-licensing. And that is what the Real Pro U curriculum is. So you can become a true real estate professional. From contracts to lead generation, mortgages and financing, and so much more that is in the works as we speak. I'm excited to share with you today the details of Real Estate Pro University. So what is Real Estate Pro University? Well, again, it is your one-stop solution for training as it relates to practicing real estate in Florida. From, again, lead generation to contracts and so much more. And if you are brand new to real estate and you don't yet have a Florida real estate license, this is powered by Tampa School of Real Estate, also known as TSRE, Florida's leading real estate education institution. So should you need pre-licensing, post-licensing, exam prep, continuing education, that can be bundled with this as well. Now, what you're seeing here is a preview of the Real Pro U curriculum. And we're going to talk about these courses individually here. But if you need any of the FREC-required pre-licensing courses, again, you can get that through Real Estate Pro University, even if that is just continuing education hours. That is available through the platform, as well as exam prep, post-licensing, and pre-licensing. So this is a one-stop solution if you have a sales associate license in Florida for not only all of your FREC requirements, but also these trainings that are not FREC required, that don't count for hours, but again, it's concepts that as a real estate professional, you'll want to know and learn. What we're looking at right here is the For Sale by Owner Fundamentals course, and this course is all about one of the top sources of leads from people outside of your sphere of influence. So your sphere of influence can be extremely powerful, but if you just rely on one channel of lead generation, you're not maximizing the possibility and potential that you have. So why For Sale by Owners? They're trying to do it on their own. They don't think they need you. Why would you want to try to solve this problem for them when they aren't looking to pay a real estate professional? Why would you try to make somebody a customer who is somebody who said, I don't want to hire a real estate professional, I want to do it myself? If this is somebody who just listed their property for sale by owner, they're not likely to be ready to say, okay, let's list it, unless they are already overwhelmed. But chances are, it's probably not going to happen on day one. It could. It could be maybe just one of the spouses, if there's two people or maybe more that own the property. Maybe one of them wants to sell, and maybe they both want to sell, but one of them wants to use a realtor, the other wants to try to do it themselves. And so they're already maybe second guessing and having hesitations. And if they're not having second guesses and hesitations yet, they will. And that's what this course is all about, the psychology of for sale by owners and how to convert them into listings, how you can proactively work with them in a win-win type of situation that could ultimately end up being a listing for you, but even some steps that you could take to start to build a deeper relationship as well as generate opportunities for yourself through the property. And so that's the FSBO Fundamentals. It's designed to get you introduced to this because most for sale by owners are going to realize at some point that they're overwhelmed, that they're out of their league, that they need a real estate professional, but they want somebody that they could trust. More than anything, that is something that goes across demographics in real estate, across whatever type of buyer or seller you're working with, whatever type of property it may be. The universal value across the board in any one of those situations is going to be trust in that real estate professional. And in some instances, it does matter more than others. You get into commercial real estate and other special purpose type of properties, that's where some of the technicals start to matter a little bit more than trust. But at least as it relates to the professional, trust is a major factor across the board because people can be extremely unpredictable. That's why you want to become a real pro. So your success can be predictable. So your lead generation can be predictable. You don't have to rely on a friend or family member or past client to have to give you a referral or have to do business again with you right now. Because if none of them have anything to give you right now, don't have any business to give you right now, this is another avenue of people that are out there raising their hands, say, I need to sell, I need to sell. It's just they're trying to do it on their own. And so you could intervene as a professional in a very professional way, in a very friendly way. And that's why, again, knowing the psychology of these sellers and where they're coming from is so important, so you can meet them where they are. So this is one of my favorite courses in the Real Estate Pro University catalog here. This is another one because this is something that I did back when I got started in real estate. Is I would go out door knocking on apartment complexes to try to find people that want to buy a home. And you'd be surprised. No, not how much you could get kicked out of there, but no, you'd be surprised how many people you talk to that are genuinely interested in buying real estate. But maybe there is something that's holding them back. Maybe there is challenges with their credit. That's one of the top concerns, especially today with high interest rates. Credit is an even bigger factor because if you don't have great credit, you're going to get an even higher rate than the already elevated rates that are out there. And so maybe there's some degree of credit counseling that either you could provide or you could refer them to a professional to help get them in the right financial shape so that when the stars do start to align, they're moving towards becoming a buyer. And you, as the professional, maintaining this relationship with them way from the beginning, even when they were renting, even when you were the one knocking at their door at their apartment saying, hey, my name is John Chrismo, or insert your name here, and I'd love to help make you a homeowner. Is that something you'd be interested in? Simple, easy line. You can make it your own. And that's what all these courses are about as well. Not necessarily telling you the exact specific, you have to say this, you have to say that, but teaching you how to think like a real estate professional. And so this is yet another lead generation course. We have lots of lead generation courses in here because that's one of the most important things to make sure your business succeeds. It's one of the things that new agents consistently look for is they look for leads. Because especially when you're brand new, until you become a real pro, which just because you sign up for Real Pro, it doesn't automatically make you a pro. You got to put in the work. You got to do the trainings. You've got to actually go out there and test the material, make it your own so you can really own it, so it really becomes natural, so it becomes true and authentic, rather than just something you're repeating from some training that you've done online. And some of the exciting things we have to come with Real Estate Pro University will allow that to become so much more of a reality than it already is, which is why if you're not a member of Real Pro yet, you'll want to become a member. The open house training is all about how to hold a successful open house. And that isn't necessarily about, how do you just get the house sold, because likely you're not going to get the house sold as a result of the open house. But what it's going to do is it's going to get exposure for the property to bring out a lot of people that wouldn't look at the property on their own with a showing, but maybe they see that it's an open house and they say, let's go check it out. It helps generate interest, and for those people that are interested in it, they see all this other interest and they wonder, I wonder if one of these people want to buy it. Maybe I should go ahead and get an offer, and maybe I should make my offer more competitive. I don't want to be outbid, especially when they start to become emotional about the property. And this, it's really called Open House Essentials, but it's a lot more advanced than just, bake some cookies and say, hey, welcome in, and put out some signs. It's about maximizing the attendance of your open house, because not only does that get the most exposure for the property, it also gets you the most exposure for yourself, for your business, for your sandbox. That's why I like to look at the open houses. Is they're like a sandbox where you could go out there and play, and you could test out your people skills, your communication skills, your fact-finding skills, your question skills, your relationship building skills, your listening skills, because listening should be at least 80% of the conversation And you should only probably do 20% of the talking, because if you're doing more than 20% of the talking, you're withholding valuable information from your client. So this helps you capitalize upon that, especially in that open house environment. A really great training. And these are all great trainings to do again and again and again, including the contract courses. Now, these aren't quite as exciting as lead generation, but they are essential. And it's something that I personally struggled with when I got my real estate license, and I was out there showing homes, but I didn't know how to write up an offer. And so I was, subconsciously like talking people out of, I was giving off that energy of, you don't want to buy this. And the energy of, you don't want to buy this, wasn't because I thought there was something wrong with the house. It's, what if they want to buy this and I need to fill out a contract? I don't know how to do that yet. I was way out ahead. I had clients, but again, I didn't know how to do the contract. There was no simple, easy video course broken down line by line, going through not only the contract you would use to make offers, which is the FAR bar as is, it's the #1 contract for residential purchases, but also if you have the opportunity to get a listing, and you're now going to be presenting those FAR bar as is to the seller, but first you have to get that listing agreement signed. And the buyer brokerage agreement is now a standard thing as well. I've been a huge proponent of the buyer brokerage agreement. I've required it in my brokerages since way back when we first started Real Estate Pro University back in 2019. And one of the things that we've constantly taught about the buyer brokerage agreement, again, even before it's required, is it's the opportunity to have that same type of listing appointment, but now with a buyer, to really help clarify what the buyer's roles are, what your roles are, what the process looks like, to make it a much more predictable and expedited process than if you don't do this. Than if you're just kind of going on a whim. Oh yeah, let's go take a look at houses and see what happens. That's not how you want to operate. And these agreements are written in pretty plain English. There are some advanced parts in there that we break it all down line by line, and a lot of this stuff, there's other professionals that you can defer to with questions. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the questions you can answer for the client are limited to a certain degree because you're not an attorney. But for the most part, through these courses, through these trainings, you'll be able to get a feel for these, of how to fill these out, what they mean at the basics, and then again, what additional resources, which aren't just your broker. Specifically with these are all Florida Realtor agreements, so you have access to what's called the Florida Realtor Legal Hotline. Because with these agreements, with your membership to the Florida Realtors, you have access to the legal hotline to call in and ask questions about these agreements and how they pertain to the specific situation you may find yourself and your clients in. So those contract essentials, they truly are that essential to your business. And so are the financing essentials course. Mortgage 101, just to get a general overview of the mortgage process. And then the VA loan boot camp is really big because here in Florida, we have a lot of not just active duty military, but veterans who retire here as well. So really great trainings with that. And there's a whole lot of more trainings in the platform, not just in the library, but on the way as well. We also have some really exciting things to announce with Real Estate Pro University. But as that announcement does come, I'll tease you with a couple of the details before we sign off today. This rate will no longer be available for the complete pro package here that includes all the TSRE FREC required sales associate courses. So whether you need to do post-licensing, pre-licensing, you need the exam prep, or just the continuing education, this is something I would take advantage of before we roll out the new option, where there again will be just more of a standalone option for just the Real Estate Pro University for only $47 per month. Or you could bundle that with all of the FREC required trainings right now for just $87. With this program, you become part of a community of alumni from Tampa School of Real Estate Pro University, those that have attended the real estate career fairs, those that are ingrained here in real estate in Florida, as well as those that are just starting their journey. So we want to help you achieve your success story. We want to help you inspire that next generation for your team, for your real estate brokerage, and Real Estate Pro University can help you do that. Whether it's passing your exam, improving your business, finding the mentorship you need for success so you can be happier than ever with your decision to become a real estate professional. So that community is huge, something that is extremely valuable in and of itself. You can access this all right through the TSRE app. This allows you 24/7, anytime, any place to log in from your phone, from your tablet, from your Mac. You can even download the app on there. There's offline mode to be able to view these trainings without an internet connection or without having to worry about buffering. If you have any questions about Real Estate Pro University, reach out to us 24/7 at 888-588-7480. Again, that's 888-588-7480. And you can find out more details online at realprou.com. Again, that's realprou.com. Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of State of Real Estate. We'll be back next week for Ask the Instructor. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you later.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com.